Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on your busy Wednesday. It's so beautiful out right now. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day. And this is also Recovery Month. So there's usually a lot of events that take place throughout the state of Michigan for recovery. So I haven't heard a whole lot this year about different things taking place. Hopefully you can share that later. I wanted to start off the meeting, and I'm Catherine O'Hare, Vice President and Officer for the state of Michigan for MARR. But I wanted to start off the meeting by introducing Jason DeBeck with Nathan's House. Jason's been an operator with us for quite a while now. He has two beautiful homes in Boyne City, and he recently acquired some funding that is helping his program to get different things for his home. And he's also Operator of the Month. I've always been very impressed with Jason's homes, and they're always they really represent what a certified home should be like. I love the structure that you have in place on the oversight. So I wanted Jason to start off and tell us something about your program and what makes it run the way it does. And if you could share your opportunity that you just received for the funding, that would be great.
You see you're not on a boat today.
What's that?
I said, I see you're not on a boat today.
No, unfortunately, it's not a boat day. It's like 70 degrees, overcast. It wants to rain. So yeah, today was not a boat day. But thank you so much, Catherine, and everyone that is associated with MARR. It's really, truly, it's an honor for us. When I started this endeavor back in 2017, I, like most of us who are operators, had absolutely no idea what to do. I came from the treatment world. I'd actually been recruited to start a treatment center up here in Walloon Lake called Bear River Health. I was there for about 2 years and realized that they were doing things a little bit differently than I wanted to. So I left one day, and I was talking with my wife about what could we do next, and I kind of had some different ideas. Like starting an indoor baseball arena to buying up some rental properties, things like that. And I just so happened to have a sponsee who stayed at a recovery residence down in Lansing. And he needed to go down there and pick up some of his painting supplies. He's a painter. And he asked me if I'd give him a ride. So I said, absolutely. And I took him down there, and I actually had known the recovery operator or residence operator from a past life, and got to talking with him, and I got to see kind of like the way they did things. And I got in the car afterwards. I called my wife and I said, I think I know what I want to do. And got online immediately, did a bunch of research, found this study from the Johns Hopkins University that found that men and women who go from treatment to home are about less than 10% likely to stay sober long term. Whereas if they go from treatment to a recovery house, continue the aftercare programming for a minimum of 9 months, likelihood of them staying sober went up to 70%. And I thought back to when I was the executive director of this treatment center. There was a couple of guys who I'd seen come through the door 5 different times in the short time that I was there in the 2 years. And I thought, wow, there's got to be a missing puzzle piece to this, because we bring them into treatment and we get them healthy and they're looking good, and we send them home and they go right back into doing the same things, and they're right back here. And so I called her up and I said, I would love to start a sober living home. She goes, what's that? She's never heard of one. I said, and I explained to her a little bit, and she goes, that sounds like a great idea. Get a plan together. And I'm not much of getting a plan together kind of guy. I'm more like, I see it, I want it, I'll go get it. But she forced me to sit down and kind of crunch numbers, put together like, okay, here's our budget, here's what it's going to take, figure out if it's going to work, and make sure it's scalable. And I did. I sat down and sharpened my pencil, and I figured out, what would it cost for a home? What would it cost for the utilities, insurance, all the expenses that we would need? And then what could we do to make sure that it pays for itself? Because we're going to operate as a for-profit facility. We chose not to operate as a nonprofit just because I've served on nonprofit boards, and they can sometimes be a little bit time consuming. So I wanted to stay in that route. So I found there was another guy operating a recovery home in Traverse City by the name of Tom Gilbert, who he and I became a great friends. My hope was that I was going to go see Tom and he was going to hand me the playbook, like, here, this is what you need to do. But unfortunately, he didn't. He just said, here's all the things you're going to need to create. So go out there and create them. And I contacted the West Michigan Association of Recovery Residences. I believe I talked with Catherine and Kayla. They sent me a list of things and to get certified. This is what you need to do. And I went through and I probably spent, I don't know, a good 40 hours putting together my policies, all the documentation and things like that. And called a realtor and said, hey, I'm looking for a house in Boynton City, 4 or 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a little bit of parking space. And it happened to be my wife's aunt. And she called me the next day and said, you'll never guess what, but there's a house in your backyard, basically, literally. And it was the house behind us, had just gone up for sale, hadn't even been on the market a full 24 hours. We went and looked at it. It needed a lot of help. And I'm talking shag carpet from the 1970s, right? And a lot of holes in the wall, and just, they had not taken care of the house. So we put an offer in on it, they accepted, and we started renovating the home. In that time, I really started to develop, like, what's this going to look like? What sort of approach do we want to take? There's a couple of different ways. There's this kind of lackadaisical approach to where the guys come in and you accept them for who they are, and you understand that guys are going to make mistakes, and they're going to do what they want. Or are you going to add a little bit of accountability and structure? And I chose the accountability and the structure just because when I got sober, I'm a person in long-term recovery since April 21st, 2012. I was lucky when I got sober. My wife at the time kicked me out, changed the locks on the doors, and I had to go stay at my parents again. So here I am, a 36-year-old man having to stay at mom and dad's, and being told by my father, to turn off the lights, close the refrigerator door, don't turn on the air conditioning, all these different things. And it's amazing because I really had to just grow up, and I want that for our men, right? Like, we're going to put a fair amount of responsibility on you. And our expectation is that, to live here, you're going to do so. So our vision was to provide a very safe, structured, and affordable place that men could come home to at the end of the night. And we set out in July of 2017. We opened our doors. I had done a little bit of marketing with our local treatment centers to let them know we were getting accredited through the Michigan Association of Recovery Residences, because they told us that if you wanted to receive referrals from us, that you would need to have that accreditation. So got the guys, our first 2 clients in the house. They were kind of our beta testers. It went okay. I almost gave it up after dealing with one of them. I said, I don't know if I could do this the rest of my life. But it really did work out in the end, because we've been getting a lot of great clients from the local treatment centers here and up in the Upper Peninsula and throughout mid-Michigan. And these guys really just, I love to see the light come on. We provide the accountability and the structure in the sense that, here's a freedom. You're basically going to live at our house on your own. It's like your own house or your own apartment, but you're going to have a few things to do. Like, everyone's going to get up and out of bed no later than 9:30 every day. We felt that was pretty generous because we have a couple of guys. We knew that we would have guys on second shift and whatever. You're going to make your bed. You're going to do a chore for the house. You're going to have to attend 12-step based or recovery based meetings. You're going to have to find a sponsor. You're going to have you're going to have to work a program of recovery, and we're going to verify these things so we can watch you grow. If you don't, every guy that comes in the house starts on a top bunk in the bunk room called Cal's Pals, named after my sponsor. And you earn your way from a top bunk down into a bottom bunk, and then you can earn your way from the bunk room into a semi-private room where it's usually one or two guys. And if you mess up, if you don't do your chore, if you miss a curfew, if you don't get your 5 meetings in, then you're going to find a consequence. And usually one of the first consequences is you're going to go back up to a top bunk. And anybody who's lived on a top bunk knows you don't like making the bed on the top bunk. Once you get down to the bottom bunk, man, it's easy living. But once you're up on a top bunk, it's like, no, why did I do this? We've had, I think, tremendous success. I wanted to go through all my files today and kind of give you like a little bit of, how we're doing. But we are involved in a grant with, it's through the Bureau of Justice, through the Department of Justice. It's called the Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Use Program, COSUP for short. And we were approached by their grant team earlier this year, and they said, hey, we're looking to reach out into rural areas, and we want to know if you'd like to be a part of this grant. I said, well, maybe, because I know whenever someone's offering you money comes some strings. And I wanted to make sure that, we weren't going to get ourselves into something that we couldn't handle. So they kind of let me know what the funding would be for. It's for things like reimbursing me for my supplies, to help with scholarships to get guys from treatment into the house, help with new furniture, help with new appliances, and also help with recreation activities and equipment. And she said, put together, if you could, put together just a little budget for a year to see how you would spend this money and how we could help you out. And so I sat down and I went through and made a budget, which is something that I'm not really used to, because that's more my wife's. She's a CPA. She does that a lot. I said, I need your help. And she helped me go through QuickBooks and Excel spreadsheet, came up with a budget for about $60,000 that they could help reimburse us with. And I sent it off along with a couple of other documents that, one, we are certified through the Michigan Association of Recovery Residences. They wanted to see like a plan, how the money would be used. I was contacted 2 weeks later, said, you've been approved in our grant, and we're going to award you $430,000.
Wow.
And I was absolutely blown away. I was shocked. But with that, they are engaging with the University of Michigan, and the University of Michigan team is coming in and performing studies. So they've taken all my old paperwork that I've had since 2017. They're digitizing it, and they're putting it into a format where they can study outcomes. And it's quite a task. From there, they're developing a computer, almost like a rec cap system that you guys are using now. But they're going to develop something which is going to be really simple for myself and the guys to use, so they can keep track of data going forward in a more electronic way. But I really got to say that if it weren't for the beginning, for the support, for the guidance and the help, if I needed to write a little document on a guest overnight pass, all I'd have to do is send out an email, and I would try this example. And it was so helpful from your organization to help me get where we are. Now, when we first started, we had some neighbors who were really excited that we were starting a recovery residence in their backyard. In fact, the one woman, Laura, who I really wanted you to meet, Catherine, when you came up, because she was not at all excited about having 12 men in recovery living next to her. She had actually come from California, and while she was out there, she had a really traumatic experience with 2 men assaulting her, and it brought a lot of fear to her. And when she found out we were starting a recovery residence, she would have thought she had turned into the devil, and she was going to light up the torches and get the pitchforks, because she was our biggest enemy. And I told her, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. I showed her the documentation about how we're going to collect their information, how we're going to do background checks, how they're going to be involved with my family, and that I would no way bring someone around my family that I thought was dangerous. And I told her, I made her a promise that we promise to show you what recovery looks like. I understand you know what addiction looks like, but we're going to show you what recovery looks like. And I can honestly say, it's funny that Catherine, when you called me the other day to let me know that we were going to be operator of the month again, I'd actually had two of the guys with me, and we had just got done. We'd finished off clearing the branches that had fallen onto her roof. We had just got done finished clearing all the branches off her roof, and we were taking them to the city dump to dump them off.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
she had called the tree service, but the tree service was like, they're so busy around here that they really are only going to come if it's for like a $10,000 job. She had maybe like a $1,200 or a $2,000 job. So we cleared off all the branches, cut off a bunch of limbs around her house. And, she is now our biggest supporter. She goes all over. Anytime we have any sort of community function or where we're meeting with the city council or the city commissioners, her and a bunch of other neighbors are right there to help support us. And, she drops cookies off for the guys. Whenever there's a big football game like Super Bowl or the college bowl games, she's always dropping off Doritos and pop and things like that, because these guys go to every length to try and make sure that she's well taken care of. Whenever it snows, they're always out there shoveling her car, or pathway for her car, cleaning it off. I mean, it really is tremendous. And I know that you brought a lot of everybody on this call today. Probably you see a lot of that in your own communities, but to really help people around us understand that this is what recovery looks like. It's been just a tremendous opportunity. Going forward, if anybody would like some information on the COSUP grant, I'd be more than willing. I'll share the URL from the screen into the comments portion. If you want to reach out to them and see if you'd be eligible for a grant, I know that they are looking for more people to participate, especially in some of the rural communities, like up in the Upper Peninsula and whatnot. I would encourage you to reach out to them and say, hey, I'd be interested, because that money's there and they're just looking for people to take advantage of it. So thank you again. Thank you again. This is a blessing. Thank you so much for the honor and the recognition. We really are working hard to live up to, make sure we're living up to the standards that you've set forth. And we just couldn't be more ecstatic and excited that you've given us this opportunity to help people.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
so much. And there's such a stigma attached to sober living homes. So having a certified operator like yourself reach out to neighbors and go over there and mow that old lady's lawn, or go over there and shovel her driveway too. I mean, not only is it helping the individual that's in your home, giving back to somebody in the community besides just thinking about themselves, they got to think outside the box. They got to think about giving to others and stuff. But that slowly brings in other people in the community realizing that this is a great thing.
Yeah,
it's
and
really
they see it like
people.
When they come through our homes and they see what kind of condition the guys keep their home in, they are extremely impressed. Like we had the mayor and the chief of police come through just a little bit ago.
Oh, wow.
And the chief of police was like, man, I would live here. It's just, that makes us feel really good that these guys are really, they're stepping up and they understand that there's a standard of living that we must abide by, and these guys are keeping it. So we really appreciate our guys and what they do too.
Yeah. Just to show how much a good culture and keeping that good culture really
it's a great culture. Too. We had house versus house volleyball the other night. Oh, what a great time. I should send you the picture of all the guys together. It looks like the Nathan's House Chippendale calendar, right? These guys are like cut and ripped. I could probably make a few extra dollars, but I won't.
Make sure you get them to sign off on that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
Make a recovery calendar.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
So does anyone have any questions for Jason? He's going to put information in the chat. I appreciate that, Jason. And so that'd be great if there's another opportunity possibly for anybody else to get some funding. There's money out there. You just got to look for it. And when I went to Jason's home and he shared that gift of money that, he kind of stumbled into, I thought, wow, what a great opportunity for other people too, maybe. So I asked him if he would actually talk today a little bit and share that with you guys. So anyone have any questions for Jason? if you're ever in Boyne City, oh my gosh, just
Yeah, we'd love to have you come out.
contact Jason and just go look at his homes. They're just beautiful, just beautiful.
Very
I
impressive.
have one question for you, Jason, and thank you for your time this afternoon. How were you found by the DOJ COSA people? That just come out of the sky one day?
Yeah, it was just truly a blessing out of the sky. There was a woman in Traverse City. She was a part of the grant.
Yeah.
And they were asking her, hey, do you know of anybody else that could take this? We had done a little bit of reciprocating work before. She works for Michigan Harm Reduction. She's actually been in our homes, talked to our guys about using Narcan and things like that. And she was really impressed with our homes and our guys, so she gave him my name. And then speaking with the woman who was filling out the grant paperwork for us from the Michigan State Police, she let me know that she was once a case manager for what's it like that called Child and Family Services, and she had worked with a client of hers and had sent him to treatment, and then he came to Nathan's house and had stayed with us for 2 years and is doing really well. So she knew of us prior to her reaching out to me.
Nice.
So it was really just doing the next right thing. Good word travels far and bad word travels fast. So
Jason, my name's Wally. I'm with MARR too.
Wally.
I just really want to thank you for your commitment to recovery. I think that's so important. I mean, like you, I came out of working for years on the treatment side of things, and there was such a huge hole when people got out of treatment that's now being filled by all the recovery housing we have in the state of Michigan, which is wonderful, and homes like yours that are just continuing to help people get reconnected with services in their communities and getting to meetings and getting into counseling and getting to understand what living without alcohol and drugs is like.
Yeah. And I tell you, the business community here in Boyne City absolutely loves having our guys because, the shortage in workforce in these tourist towns, it's just not the case here. Our guys come in, they're required to work, go to school or volunteer at least 32 hours a week. Nobody ever has a problem finding a job in this town. In fact, when they go for an interview and they let them know that they live at Nathan's house, they're probably a higher likelihood of getting hired because there's that structure and accountability. They know that they're going to be clean and sober. They know they're going to show up on time, and they're going to know that part of living in this house is to have a job. So I've had numerous interactions with business leaders, and they thank us for doing what we do. And they can also, if they're having issues with any of their employees, I've gotten calls, from Bowman Dock and Lift or realtors that have family members or friends like, hey, this is what's going on. What do we do next? And we're here to help.
That's awesome. Great to hear, Jason.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions for Jason? Superior? Oh, hi. Go ahead.
This is Sarah and Steve from Superior Connections up in Marquette, Michigan.
Hey.
So we're definitely relating to a lot. Hello, thank you for everything you said. It was definitely helpful and relatable. It sounds like your program is pretty similar to the program that we run as well. So we are actually like in between houses right now because we have been working really hard on what would you say, remodeling a house for a new recovery home, and we're just about finished with this. And then we also have another home that's in Marquette, so half an hour from Ishpeming, and we just recently found out that our funding is going to be cut as of October 1st.
Oh.
And so that's been a little stressful, and Catherine took the time to talk to me last week about a little bit about trying to run a recovery house without funding, but just like self-pay. We are all like putting our heads together here. I know that we are like looking at maybe doing like a news story with me and Steve also work at Elizabeth's Chop House in Marquette here. So our boss, Tom, he hires a lot of people in recovery. So I know that they're going to try and do a news story with some of the restaurant owners around here to talk about how the people that they hire in recovery are such hard workers, and try to help like change that point of view, I guess.
Yeah.
We're also just trying to put together a campaign that's, we're going to try to be a little bit loud about it and just like let people know what sober living is about. And just we have people that are willing to give like their testimonies, but this is just like a really important thing here in our community. We actually need many more houses, for women and stuff as well. And
Absolutely. Right.
but we are new. We're both, in recovery, we're peer recovery coaches. We're not always the best with like the business side of things, can be a little overwhelming and intimidating sometimes to think about grants and deal with them, for me anyways. So it's just yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
any other ideas out there, we'll take any advice you have. We are gonna fight for this no matter what. So yeah, we're wondering if there's anything you could offer to us.
Well,
And
I know, for us, at first, when we first opened our doors, I would let the guys come in because, nobody comes out of treatment with a pocket full of money.
Right.
I would let them come to the house, stay, and until they found a job, and then they could pay their sobriety deposit, shared living expense. But it seemed like they were constantly in arrears, right? Like they could never catch up. They wouldn't. And then I would have to exit guys from the house, and I'd be out $700 or $300 or whatever. So we kind of just backed up a little bit and said, from now on, anybody coming to the house, they have to put cash on the barrel. And I tell you, at first I was a little skeptical that they wouldn't be able to find the money, but there are so many like Families Against Narcotics. I believe they're called something different now, but Families Against Narcotics, they'll help out with the first 2 weeks to get somebody in the door. And that for me was enough to get them in the door. And then I would watch their feet and see what they were doing. And if they went more than 3-4 days without a job or a job offer, I would have a conversation like, rent's coming due. How are you going to make your shared living expense? How are you going to, make your amends? They either they'll go out and get a job and be successful, or they really aren't ready yet, because recovery is really easy for people that want it, right? And it's really hard for people that don't. I know that when I was active in my addiction, if I needed some money to get some booze or some drugs, I had no problem hustling up, finding, you got a skunk underneath your porch, I'll come get it for $100, right? Right? And that's what I tell these guys. Like, you have to look at it that way. I don't want you to go out and do something illegal, but there are churches, there's foundations, there's state grants, there's plenty of opportunities for the men who want recovery, for them to go out and find it. I don't necessarily have to go out and find it for them. I know of a couple places I can say, hey, try here. But I really want to see the men coming into my house put the effort in to finding the funding to get here. Because ultimately, if they're going to be that willing to do so, they're going to be that willing to try recovery and do the deal when they get to the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great advice.
Well,
I
we
also
really
recommended-
appreciate everything you said.
I also
Yes, we'll take it.
recommended to Sarah that I wasn't sure what kind of funding was cut. I know COVID block grant is being cut. They gave everybody, I think, till like the end of September, but then there was a few weeks ago, there was a notice that, oh, by the way, SAMHSA changed their mind, and the cutoff was March 14th after all. So they were putting people into ARPA funding. So there's ARPA funding, there's PA2 funding. So my recommendation to Sarah, and I don't know if you did it yet, was to put something on letterhead. Make a call to wherever your funding source was. Make a call, follow it up with an email and a letter on letterhead requesting to see if you can qualify for ARPA funding or PA2 funding instead, because there's other funding out there. So, and we talked about the Families Against Narcotics, the FAN. So I'm not sure how far they go, if they're in the UP or not, but it's worth a shot.
Okay. Catherine, would you also mind just like putting in the chat? I just want to make sure it's right. It's like the PA2 you said, and then is it ARPA, ARPA?
Yeah. Do it right now. Anyone have any questions or suggestions for for
Thank you.
Sarah on this?
We appreciate all the help that everything Jason's had to say, and I appreciate your time as well, Catherine. So
But Jason did highlight something that's worth repeating, because I find that as operators, we have to balance the risk of bringing someone in that might not pay us, but yet be easy enough to allow people in so that they do have a good start to a new beginning. And I know Recovery Road, we kind of use that 2-week benchmark also of, if you're a self-payer, when you come in, you should at least be able to afford to pay for the first 2 weeks. And so keeping that in mind will be important, because that will help you with your cash flow, because at least you're starting out with 2 weeks from a person, instead of risking everything and hoping that you get the money in the tail end. And the other thing that's also worth repeating, you did a really great job, Jason, but I find sometimes it's good to repeat some things that are really, really helpful, is even though it's an extra task for you guys or for operators, trying to figure out and get familiar with what companies are hiring in the area makes it easier for people that are looking for jobs to get a job, which then means it helps them out with their recovery and their success, but it also turns around and helps you out with your cash flow, because your population is having a higher success rate of being able to pay you. So it's a good win-win situation by putting efforts into the non-recovery side, which is jobs and cash flow, and how do you empower your population to be able to pay.
Yeah, good point.
A lot of
Thank
it's
you.
educating the community as well, your local community. So we've talked about it before, like if there's town hall meetings that are
Mhm.
going on in your local community, be a part of that. Make sure that they know, here we are, this is what we do, and so people it's just educating them on what a recovery residence is. And I'll often say as well that if somebody knows there's a recovery residence on a street, they're going to look up and down that street and they're going to find the crappiest looking house, and they're going to assume that's got to be the recovery residence, but when they see a well-run home that's got landscaping and taking care of the yard and their house is maintained and power washed, it's some of the homes that I've seen are the nicest looking homes on the block. And that just brings up the property values for people, right? And they want to keep up with the Joneses. And I've seen neighbors just start decorating their homes and planting perennials and stuff too, just to make the neighborhood look great. So thank you again, Jason. And Superior Connections, I've seen your homes too, and you do a great job. So you'll get the funding you need. It sounds like you're reaching out and you're coming up with a lot of great ideas.
We appreciate it and appreciate the support. And like I said, like all the input, we'll take it and absorb it and use it. And we appreciate just being able to come here and talk about this stuff. So
Could you put your name and information, email in the chat as well, Sarah? So maybe an operator could reach out to you after the fact as well with some suggestions or something.
absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just saw Lisa Young posted, she just had a great comment as well, is taking residents to do community events. We just had a tree planting event here in Boyne City, and our guys went to help with that. And at first somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, would your guys be interested?" I said, I don't know. I just left a couple of flyers at the houses, and the guys showed up and planted a bunch of trees around the community, and they loved it and had a great time, got to meet a bunch of community members, and really got to give back to the community that has given them a lot. So that was a great comment too, Lisa.
Another thing that could be real helpful too, as far as helping the population to find employment opportunities, is also getting familiar with if there's any temp agencies
Mhm.
in the area.
Yeah.
Then that way, because I find, I mean, one good interview with one temp agency could be equivalent to finding 10 different interviews separately. And so that's usually the first suggestion that I talk to my residents about is here's a list of various temp agencies in the area or that serve this area. Find one, talk to a rep from that one, and that one rep could spread the word to 5 possibilities that would work for you.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, when my late husband and I ran recovery homes, that was a requirement. Day one, they had to, get up at 7, first rule of the day, make your bed, do your chore, and they had to be out by 8:30, but they had to, the first places they needed to go to were the temp agencies, and they had their addresses and their phone numbers and stuff. In the meantime, while they're looking for work, they've got other people looking for work for them as well. So it really worked out well. Awesome. A lot of great ideas going on. Thank you. I want to introduce Jeff Van Trees. Jeff, do you have anything you'd like to talk about? No, we got a conference coming up.
Oh, I'll try to keep my comments kind of semi-brief. The next annual MARR conference is going to be held in Virginia. It's going to be held Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, October 7th, 8th, and 9th. So we will not be having a MARR operators meeting next month, and Kayla will let everybody know of that.
Yep.
The conference, for those of you who have come to our conference last year in Dearborn, no, but we've got some real exciting people showing up for the NAR conference this year as well. The head of the American Psychiatric Association is going to be there. Patrick Kennedy is going to be there, the former legislator. The research that is being done by Dr. Best and RecCap are going to be discussed there. In fact, there was a meeting that I attended virtually earlier today in Rockaway, New Jersey, and the whole issue was what type of research needs to be done for recovery residence operations. And when Jason mentioned the Johns Hopkins University study, that was 2011. And I think there's a link somewhere on the MARR website where anybody that's interested can go look at that. But as Jason said, the numbers are just fantastic. It's like you got a 10 times better outcome, 10 times better outcome with here's some additional time in a recovery residence. Why is that? Because addiction is a chronic disease that's not an acute disease, and we need more time we need more support. We need more support for a longer period of time. One of the things that I was thinking about trying to get some research done on was, and for those of you that haven't read the Johns Hopkins study, I'd encourage you to go read it and look at it. But that was done with a clinician as one of the 3 cohorts of 100 people. And the clinician would be your average person, fresh out of social work school that may or may not know a lot about the real world life of addiction. And so my thought was, if we used in the place of a clinician, a peer recovery coach, what would be the results with the peer recovery coach? And I would think that 2 things. One, I think it'd be better. I know that in my own recovery, I could have either gone to my brother, who's a PhD psychologist, who knew almost nothing about recovery, or I could talk to the guy that has the office next door that runs recovery residences that had the functional equivalent of like a 12th grade education, but he was fantastic. And he's the guy who helped me. So anyway, so I was trying to get some research done on that point. Plus, The second issue would be the appropriate amount of peer recovery coaching time spent with the individual residents. In other words, if I'm thinking of that as a recovery support like medicine, what's the dosage of medicine that's needed? How much time does the average person need, say, in the first 60 or the first 90 days of being in a recovery residence? So anyway, that's being done. The other thing that I was going to, that Jason piqued my interest in was the fact that there's money literally coming down, manna from heaven. You don't even necessarily need to be aware of things, and people are calling us saying, hey, somebody told me in Traverse City that Tom Gilbert said that Jason knew what he was doing, and so give him some money. That's fantastic news. And it's really interesting to me to be made aware of that so that we can try to let everybody else in our community share in that if they can. And to that line, and kind of as another discussion point, the MDHHS housing grant funding for the long-term lease or purchase of recovery residences. They've awarded 12 operators with some funding with that, and they've got a TA, technical assistance, being offered to those 12 operators by a group called C4, which they're a national group. They're out of Boston, and it's going to be assistance and helping operators operate according to the SAMHSA standards and the NAR standards, and kind of assisting with what we're doing here with MARR. But anyway, that's all the news that I have from my seat here. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Wally and or Kayla.
I want to add real quick though, it's important that you sign up for the conference ASAP. I think the end of this week is the deadline to get a discount for signing up. And the hotel rooms, if you want a hotel room there, there's a special rate for hotel rooms for the NAR conference, the NAR Best Practice Conference, I think is what it's listed under. So you want to make sure I would do that this week. Otherwise, there might not be a hotel room and you'd have to stay at a different location. That would be great. Would love to see a lot of people there representing Michigan again.
Also on that point, Catherine, if anybody's thinking about coming down to the conference and their travel plans would allow them to be there on Sunday evening, MARR, the Michigan Association of Recovery Residences, has purchased a table there on a dinner. And so if anybody's going down there, let me know, particularly if anybody's going to be down there Sunday, because I think I might be able to get you a spot at the dinner table for a cheap and or reduced price.
Wally, got any updates or
I don't have
anything to
anything
share?
more. I just want to repeat something that you mention probably every month, and that's if anyone has any ideas about topics that you would like to see discussed at these meetings, these monthly meetings, or people that you know that you might think would be good to come on to this meeting and to speak and talk about, what they're doing and how they're doing and stuff like that. Just please let one of us know. Probably Catherine.
Or Kayla.
Or Kayla. Yeah.
Or Kayla, yeah, either one. They're probably easiest to get a hold of, but any one of us you can get information to, and we'd like to do that. So,
Perfect. Thank you. Kayla, do you have anything you need to bring up?
I did want to bring up the fact that everyone just seems to be doing so amazing this year. I know last year our numbers went down pretty significantly. I know a lot of our operators had to close homes, or they just let go of people that were in the home, so they lowered their number of beds. But this year everyone has been doing amazing. It seems like a couple times a month I'm sending people new residence forms to fill out because people are opening more homes, and it's not only have we surpassed or like reached our highest number of operators and beds that we've ever had, we've actually surpassed it, and we're at like a record high number of operators and beds and homes, and that's just amazing to see from you
What's the
guys.
number? What are the numbers
Um,
now?
The number of operators is 68. The number of beds is over 2,500 now. I think it's 2,510 or 2,520 now. I have to update the numbers from last month because it's even grown since then. And then there's exactly 300 homes. So that's just amazing to see. So
We need 300 more.
yeah, it's just great
At
to see that
least.
it's growing. We've wanted to reach 2,500 beds for a while now. It's taken a while to get there, but not only have we reached it, we've surpassed it. And it's just great to see how well you guys are doing this year. So I just wanted to say that.
Awesome.
I saw Kim just had her hand raised. Did you want to say something, Kim?
Oh, thumbs up.
Oh, just thumbs
Okay.
up. Okay.
All right, so it's recovery month. Does anybody have anything going on with your organization or in your local community to celebrate recovery for the month of September? I used to hear more things like for Kent County, like Network 180 used to put on something, and I haven't heard anything about them for a couple of years. but-
They have the walk at Belle Isle, the recovery walk
Okay,
at Belle Isle on the 13th.
is that like
So-
Wayne County area?
That is Wayne County area, correct? But my Macomb County area people will be attending.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
Thank
I
you
always
for sharing that.
encourage. Yeah.
This is
Anybody
great
else?
stuff to post in the Facebook group for you guys too. Like that, again, that Facebook page is for you guys. Any events that you know is happening, you might know it's happening, but most other people don't know it's happening. So things like that are great to spread out there for you guys. So
Any questions or concerns too?
So I have for Kalamazoo, hello everyone.
Hi, Brenda.
hey Brenda.
Kalamazoo, Saturday, the 14th, the Kalamazoo area will be hosting its Recovery Wellness Fair in Bronson Park from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we're going to have over 50 community agencies that are uplifting mental health and substance abuse recovery in the Kalamazoo area. So
You-
Abigail's
You put that in the
Palace-
chat, Brenda?
Yeah,
Yes.
and any
I was trying to put the
information on these
flyer.
events,
I was
Oh.
trying to put the flyer, but I couldn't get it there, so.
email it to
Great.
me as well because I can
Oh.
post about it in the email that I send out afterwards, and I can also post about it on our Facebook page.
Can I send you can I send you an email, Kayla?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, email
Okay.
me all of these event opportunities. If you have a link or a flyer or anything like that, I love to post about these things for you guys. So always send those to me if you get them.
Got it, Kim. Thank you. Kim just posted one as well.
One of
Anybody
the things, if I could mention something that Brenda just refresh my memory on, which is, given the fact I'm not gonna have an October meeting, I should probably tell everybody about the October 29th meeting that's gonna be in Kalamazoo. Dominic Gladstone is the guy that's helping put that together. There'll be a MARR table at that event, but this is going to be speaking at that event. And we're gonna have access, MARR is going to have access to him the Tuesday and the Thursday after the Wednesday event. And just think of it as on Halloween. It's the Wednesday of Halloween week that he's going to be there. But he's gonna be around on Thursday or Tuesday, and I'm gonna have him meet with some of the people that run RCOs in Michigan, along with some of the state people. So we'll probably have some meetings in the Lansing area. Anyway, I wanted to just bring everybody's attention to that. So if you're gonna be in Kalamazoo the Wednesday evening, I think it starts from 10 until 4, and then David Best speaks, I think, at 5 o'clock that evening.
Awesome.
Thanks, that's all I had.
Andy,
Thank
I
you.
saw your hand raised as well. Oh, Sarah.
Oh, I just wanted to share that we are also last year we did our first celebrating recovery event for Recovery Month, and we did in our commons area. We chose a location that was like accessible to everybody to walk to in case they didn't have transportation. We had thought about doing it out on Presque Isle because it's beautiful, but it's just harder for people to get out there. But we had like refreshments. We had a yoga workshop. We had some acupuncture, some drawing, some face painting, some beanbag playing. We just had like different things like that to bring the community together. And then at the end, we all like shared, you know, what recovery meant to us. So we plan on repeating this event every year. You know, little tweaks here and there. With everything else going on with the organization right now, we're just trying to get something together. But we're also trying to, I think, plan on maybe announcing a fundraiser and just like really letting the community know what recovery is about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If
Let's
you
not-
haven't already,
Oh,
put your
yeah.
name and your organization in the chat so we can keep roll call there. Go ahead, Wally.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to, you're talking to an old keep it simple guy, right? But we can't forget to celebrate recovery in our local support groups that are all around you. There are people that are coming into those groups and they're celebrating 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 years, 10 years, whatever it might be. And I think it's really important that that as an organization, we put ourselves in a position to be able to help those people celebrate and to be there. And yeah, anyway.
Could be 1 week or 1 month too. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment for a lot of people. Awesome.
Stephanie? Oh, sorry. Stephanie had her hand raised.
Stephanie.
Well, I would just say that I added the link to the Coming Together conference that Jeff was talking about in Kalamazoo.
Thank you.
We're part of the sponsors for that, and we're at a new location this year, and it's always a really good event. So if you can make sure you can register if you can come.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to post about that as well.
Well, Kelly can't be with us today, but she did want me to remind everybody about the community practice. It's for RECCAP, for operators that are doing RECCAP or are going to be doing it or interested in information. It's the 4th Wednesday of every month from 3 to 4. So this month it's going to be September 25th. Next month will be December, oh my God. October 23. So if you guys can make it on there, so you get a little bit more information, or if you're currently doing RECCAP and you have questions or something, it's a great group to be a part of. So we got a few minutes left. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share or concerns?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Crystal with A Mother's Touch Sober Living for Women and Children. And I just wanted to share, we just had one of our moms who had been with us for about almost 16 months. Our program is for 12 months, but her and her kiddo was there for about 16 months, and she just moved out into permanent housing, her first ever apartment.
Wow.
So,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What resource? How did you find that for her? Was that something that she was able to get on her own, or
Yep, with
is there
the
a
help.
resource you can share?
Yep. So with the help of our house managers have been pretty helpful with trying to help our moms secure housing, as they hear about different avenues, and so one of our house managers actually through one of her coworkers found out about a complex that was renting. And so they kind of helped walk her through.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I love that. Rachel?
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
Rachel? Do you have your hand raised?
Hello.
Rachel.
I just wanted to share, I'm Rachel Pryor, Recovery Homes Manager for Addiction Treatment Services in Traverse City. I just wanted to share that this weekend coming up, we're doing a community-based fundraiser event titled The Art of Recovery. And I just wanted to kind of share a little bit about that and what that means for our recovery home clients, because this is a silent auction type fundraiser. Very, very community-based for small businesses and recovery-based businesses that are in the area. But this it's a silent auction for artwork donated from our recovery home clients. So, well, the artwork could be donated from anybody in the area who wants to donate their art. But we have a lot of participation this year from recovery home clients, so we're super excited about that.
Nice.
That's so great to hear.
Yeah, it's
Is that
super.
something that you guys like do in your program, like art and?
This is going to be our first annual fundraiser silent auction event for art. The Art of Recovery, this is that first event, but we have multiple events throughout the year that are solely for our recovery home clients. Toward the end of September 27th, we have our fourth annual Porchapalooza for recovery home clients to come up to our admin office here in Traverse City, where our clients in the homes come up for their therapy and for case management and such. We just close off the parking lot. We just have kind of a big parking lot party. It's the fourth annual coming up on the 27th. So we have that to look forward to as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I just wanted to put the Art of Recovery out there. I was trying to copy the link and put it in the chat for anybody to get kind of more information, but it's just super exciting as far as the participation we've got from the clients donating their own work and then participating for the actual event. Have a couple speakers. It's a kind of just a good recognition, a big deal for our agency, but also the participation from the recovery home clients is just kind of overwhelmingly fantastic. So I just wanted to brag about that for a little bit, that we've for our clients who are participating in it, because it's
That's so great. Thank you for sharing.
yeah, no
I
problem.
love
Thank
that.
I want to share as well that this month I'm going to the UP. So I'm going to be going knock, knock, knock on doors on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to just do pop-ins at your homes. There's some homes in the UP I have not seen in person yet because it's an 8-hour drive one way. So I'm taking the boat across to Wisconsin and I'm going to drive up and work my way down Traverse City. So just wanted to give you guys a little heads up. So please make sure that your residents are aware. I'm going to be showing up with a badge and they'll let me in. And so I can see your homes. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's beautiful home when I'm there. So thank you, everybody. I hope to see you guys at the conference this coming month. And if we don't, see you hopefully at the community practice meeting.
Yeah.
Take care.
you.
Thank you so much, you guys.